Contaminated. Okay. A very good afternoon to all. So this is Ravi sir, biology. So welcome back after 2 weeks. Are you there, all of you? Yes. So who are not attending, as soon as possible, attend the class. So very good afternoon to all once again. So the last class we discussed about the types of diseases. So the types of disease. So here mainly the acute, chronic, mainly two types of diseases we discussed the previous class. That means acute means short-term diseases, chronic means long-term diseases. These are the we discussed in the last class, and also we discussed another two types of diseases: infectious and non-infectious diseases. So infectious diseases, also known as communicable diseases or contagious diseases. So these diseases can spread easily through microorganisms from infectious person to non-infectious person. So example, tuberculosis, cholera, influenza, typhoid, etc. are the examples of the infectious diseases. Non-infectious diseases are non-communicable diseases. So these diseases do not transmit from one person to another. So they caused due to deficiency of nutrients in our diet. So they are called non-communicable diseases. Example, diabetes, anemia, cancer, scurvy, rickets, arthritis, kwashiorkor, marasmus are the examples of the non-infectious diseases. And some of the diseases caused by virus, caused by bacteria. So here also we discussed in the last class. Example, the viral diseases cold, influenza, dengue fever, and AIDS. And the bacterial diseases like typhoid fever, cholera, tuberculosis, anthrax. And some of the common skin infections are caused by different kinds of fungi. And the protozoan diseases, malaria and Kala Azar. So these are the we discussed in the last class. So next here next we discussed about the already we discussed about the that Helicobacter pylori was responsible for the peptic ulcers. Was the responsible for the peptic ulcers. So here two pathologists discovered that peptic ulcers was caused by Helicobacter pylori. So they proved the namely Robin Warren and Barry Marshall. So for this discovery, they got Nobel Prize in 2005 in medicine. And next one, so some of the infectious agents also we discussed in the last class. So here today we discussed about the some of the viruses, where they live, and antibiotics. Examples here. Shall we discuss page number here 182? So this para below. Why it is important that This para below we shall discuss today. We should discuss today. Shall we discuss? Let us discuss. So all viruses, for example, live inside host cells. All viruses, for example, live inside host cells, whereas bacteria very rarely do. So viruses, bacteria, and fungi, they multiply very quickly. They multiply very quickly. That means they increase their number. They reproduce their number of microorganisms, while worms multiply very slowly. So this is the comparison in microorganisms. So taxonomically, all bacteria are closely related to each other than to viruses and vice versa. So this means that many important life processes are similar in the bacteria group, but are not shared with the virus group, because some of the biochemical life processes are different in virus as compared to other microorganisms. So this means that many important life processes are similar in the bacteria group but not shared with the virus group. So as a result, drugs that block one of these life processes is one member of the group is likely to be effective against many other members of the group, but the same drug will not work against a microbe belonging to a different group. So to understand this para, let us take an example. Let us take antibiotics. So the antibiotics commonly block biochemical pathways important for bacteria. That means here mostly antibiotics used for the bacterial to reduce the bacterial diseases. That means the antibiotics act on bacteria and kill and reduce their life processes, their biochemical pathways, and finally cure the disease that are caused by bacteria. So many bacteria, for example, make a cell wall. The bacteria make a cell wall to protect themselves. The antibiotic, for example, penicillin, blocks the bacterial processes that build the cell wall. So the cell wall means here it is the outer covering layer of the bacteria. So this cell wall is a tough. So when an antibiotic take when we take an antibiotic, the antibiotic first of all act on the cell wall and block its life processes. So as a result, the growing bacteria become unable to make cell walls and die easily. Human cells do not make a cell wall anyway. So we do not have a cell wall. We have a cell membrane. The cell is covered by a membrane that is called cell membrane or plasma membrane. But we do not have cell wall. So human cells do not make a cell wall anyway. So penicillin cannot have such an effect on us. Effect on any us. Penicillin will have this effect on any bacteria that use such processes for making cell walls. So similarly, many antibiotics work against many species of bacteria rather than simply working against ones. So, but here the comparison, the antibiotics mostly act on the bacteria and kill the bacteria and reduce the disease. That means that antibiotic, when we suffer from bacterial diseases, we should take antibiotics. But viruses do not use these pathways at all. The biochemical pathways are differ in virus as compared to other microbes. And that is the reason why antibiotics do not work against viral infections. So if we have a common cold, taking antibiotics does not reduce the severity or duration of the disease. However, if we also get a bacterial infection along with the viral cold, taking antibiotics will help. It means here, for example, we are suffering from a bacterial diseases. At the time, also we suffer from cold. So at the time, if we take antibiotics, the antibiotics help to reduce the severity of the disease. Even then, the antibiotic will work again only against the bacterial part of the infection, not the viral infection. Okay, I think you understand. That means here mostly antibiotics work on the bacteria and kill them and reduce the bacterial disease. But the antibiotics do not work against the viral disease. So let us now here a small activity is present. A small activity. So come to here the activity 5. So find out how many of you in your class had cold, a cough or fever recently. Or in your family members, you can get a survey like this. So how long did the illness last? How long did the illness last? For example, 15 days or 30 days or more than 30 days, like that. How many of you took antibiotics? Ask your parents. Okay. So how long did they suffer who took antibiotics pills? How long did they suffer? How long did they suffer? Or 1 month, or more than 2 months, 1 month, or 1 year, or how many take antibiotic pills or antibiotic medicines? How long did they suffer who did not take antibiotic pills? If we do not take any antibiotic pills, we will suffer more pain or more infections and other characteristics for longer days. Is there a difference between these two groups? Yes. What are they? When we suffer from a bacterial disease, if we take antibiotic pills or antibiotics, we will the antibiotics reduce the disease as soon as possible. If we do not take, it takes more days to reduce. So that is if yes, why or why not? Give the answer for them. And next one, means of spread. And next one, means of spread. So means of spread, how disease is spread. The diseases mostly spread through some ways. They are through the air, through the air, through water, through contaminated water, here I am writing, The disease is spread through the air, water, contaminated food, physical contact, physical contact, objects used, objects used, and through the insects or animals. So these are mostly vectors, and most of the year, along with these, some of the reasons also the diseases spread through some ways. If we gather in crowded places, so crowded places also one of the reason to spread a disease. Fairs, fairs, and insanitary, insanitary conditions, insanitary conditions, and here I'm writing absence of personal and community hygiene. Okay, so here some ways here. First one the air, second one water, third one food, fourth one physical contact, and fifth one object used, and sixth one insects or animals. So along with this, other than crowded places, fairs, insanitary conditions, that means sanitary conditions not available the bathrooms, the excreta sent outside or in open places, like that. Absence of personal and community hygiene. Okay, these are the ways the diseases spread. So let us discuss the one by one. So what are the diseases spread through the air? For example, when a person suffering from tuberculosis or flu or pneumonia or cough or sneezes, so at the time, little droplets of saliva or fluid are thrown in the air. So another person standing close by while breathing inhales these droplets containing the microbe which get a chance to infect the new person. It means here, for example, your friend is suffering from a cold or cough. Nearby, if you are there nearby him, what will happen? Suddenly he coughs. The germs, either bacteria or virus, may enter in your body through the respiratory tract, and it causes some diseases. Okay, so through the air, cough, sneeze, pneumonia, tuberculosis. So some of the diseases are caused through the air. And next one, the diseases spread through contaminated water. The diseases spread through contaminated water. So what are the diseases? For example, if animals excreta or human excreta or drainage excreta is released into the fresh water bodies. If that water, if used for drinking or other purpose, so what will happen? What are the germs present in that excreta that may enter in our body and cause diseases? So mainly here, the diseases caused through contaminated water, such as diarrhea, dysentery, diarrhea, dysentery, cholera, typhoid, polio are the examples of the diseases spread through contaminated water. And next one, food. And next one, food. So some of the here air diseases completed, air diseases completed here, and waterborne diseases completed. Okay. And next one, food. So through the contaminated food, what diseases is caused? Cholera, typhoid, amoebic dysentery, viral hepatitis, or jaundice, and that means jaundice. So, for example, when flies or insects, sit on stools or excreta. Sit on stools or excreta of a person, the microbes get attached to their legs. So germs, these germs get attached to the legs, which are carried by flies. So when that flies fly on the food, fresh food materials of a person, if the person get that food, so the germs enter into his body and develop their number, multiply, and cause infections or cause diseases. Okay, so this is the in this such way the diseases are spread. Okay, so that means here the flies means here insects. They are called vectors. Vectors means here they carry the germs from infected area to non-infected area, or infected person to non-infected person. The next one, physical contact. So physical contact also one of the reason to spread the diseases. So mainly, for example, if a person is suffering from skin diseases, so if we shake hand, if we give the shake hand, so maybe the germs may attach to the hands, transfer into the healthy person and cause the infections to the skin. So this is one of the way. So not only this outer side, so the sexual contact also one of the reason to spread the disease. So for example, the diseases like syphilis, the diseases like syphilis, here that due to the sexual contact, mainly some of the diseases here, syphilis. Wait here. So syphilis is a bacterial disease, and mainly here AIDS, AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So AIDS disease caused by HIV virus. AIDS disease caused by HIV virus. So HIV stands for human immunodeficiency virus. human immunodeficiency virus. So these are the main gonorrhea, syphilis, AIDS. These are the diseases spread through the sexual contact. So that's it. It is the physical contact or sexual contact. So these are called syphilis, AIDS, gonorrhea. So these diseases are called. One more I'm writing here. So gonorrhea, syphilis, AIDS. So these are the diseases, sexual contacts. So these diseases are called sexually transmitted diseases. Sexually transmitted diseases are shortly STD diseases. Sexually transmitted diseases, AIDS, syphilis, gonorrhea. These are the STD diseases or sexually transmitted diseases. So the next one, insects. So insects also play a major role to spread the diseases. Insects also play a major role to spread the diseases. So what are here? Insects are animals called vectors here. So the means here they carry the germs from infected area to non-infected area. So examples here, animals, many of the diseases are transmitted through animals which carry infecting agents from a sick patient to a potential host. So mosquitoes, which are the responsible for spreading many diseases. So mainly the mosquitoes in our houses, mainly mosquitoes, flies. So these are the mainly are the responsible for the spreading of many diseases. For example, through this mosquito bite, the malaria disease caused. That means here the plasmodium virus transferred into our blood through biting of mosquito, which is infected malaria disease. And next one, many of the crowded places. So along with this, so in our textbook also there here, page number 183, you can open a figure for common method of transmission of a disease. Common method of transmission of a disease. You can understand this here. Some of the insects, how the germs are transferred from infected person to non-infected persons. You can you can see. And next one, organ specific and tissue specific manifestation. Sorry, before this, these are also discussed. That means crowded places. Along with this here, crowded places also may cause to spread the diseases and fairs and insanitary conditions. Insanitary conditions means here what? So that the bathroom facilities, toilet facilities are not available. So there is also insanitary conditions which carry the germs from infected area to healthy area and cause diseases. And next, absence of personal and community hygiene. For example, if a person is appear neatly, hygienically, but his surroundings is not clean, not hygiene. So what will happen? If the surroundings is hygiene, automatically the person also get ready to hygiene. Okay, so protect the environment, because if the environment clean, it will stop the breeding of mosquitoes or other insects. It means they do not transmit the germs and do not cause any disease, and they do not spread any diseases for us. Okay, so let us discuss one more next topic, organ specific and tissue specific manifestation of disease. Okay, organ specific and tissue specific manifestation of disease. So you have to write the manifestation means here. Manifestation manifestation means what? Okay, it occurs. Manifestation means here manifestation of a disease occurs when symptoms when symptoms become so clear that patient that patient that the patient that the patient acts upon their symptoms acts upon their symptoms. So these are that means here manifestation means showing results out, simply meaning here showing results showing results outside clearly. Okay, that is a manifestation. I think you understand. That means manifestation of a disease occurs when symptoms become so clear that the patient acts upon their symptoms. That means here, for example, if the symptoms appear clearly or if the symptoms show clearly outside, so the specialist can prescribe some medicines to the patient. When the symptoms are not appear to the outside, the if any specialists do not prescribe any medicines. So that is a reason. So next, organ specific and tissue specific manifestation of a disease. So let us see that. Look at the book. See the book. The disease causing microbes entering the body through air, water, food, and sexual contact reach the target organ or tissue through specific route. So that means any microorganisms choose a specific way, choose a specific organ, that is a target organ. They act on special target organ or special tissue. There is a target tissue or target organ. So the selection of the organ or tissue seems to depend on the plan of entry into the body of a person. The infected tissue or the infected organ will show the symptoms and signs of the disease caused by the harmful microbe. For example, if the lungs are infected, the symptoms are dry cough, sore throat. You look at me. Sore throat, dry cough, breathlessness. That means you are unable to breathe or not breathing properly, and so on. This is the one of the infected. For example, if any virus or attack on the lungs, so these symptoms appear to the outside. And next, for example, next one more organ, liver. If liver is infected, what will happen? If liver is infected, it will cause jaundice. It will cause jaundice. Okay. And next, and liver shows inflammation. And liver shows inflammation. That means here burning sensation, inflammation, double M. Okay. Inflammation, and the person suffer from fever, loss of appetite, and so on. These are the liver symptoms. If the brain is the target organ, or if any microbes target the brain, so what will happen? The symptoms can be fever, headache, fits, unconsciousness, vomitings, and so on. So these are the symptoms of a different target organs attacked by the different microbes. So thus by knowing the target organ that gets infected and the functions carried out by the infected organ, the symptoms and the signs of the disease can be ascertained accurately. Okay, we should discuss organ specific, tissue specific manifestation. Okay, so these are the in this paragraph we discuss about the organ. Okay, organ specific manifestation of a disease. So what will happen? Next one, tissue. Next one, tissue specific manifestation. So in addition to these tissue specific effects of infectious disease, a tissue means here the group of cells, that are similar function and similar structure. So there will be other common effects too. Most of these common effects depend on the fact that the body's immune system is activated in response to infection. An active immune system recruits many cells to the affected tissue to kill off the disease causing microbes. So this recruitment process is called inflammation. So here you can underline what is inflammation here. So as a part of this process, there are local effects such as swelling and pain, and general effects such as fever. Okay. So if any disease or if any microbe attack on the tissue of a organ, so what are the symptoms appear to the outside? Mostly here swelling, pain, and other effects such as fever, okay, any infections. So like that, symptoms and signs appear to the outside. So in some cases, the tissue specificity of the infection leads to very general seeming effects. For example, in human immunodeficiency virus, shortly HIV virus, HIV infection, the virus goes to the immune system and damage its functions. Okay, so when the HIV virus enter into our body through sexual contact, so that it affect on the immune system. Mostly here, if HIV destroy in the blood, the white blood cells, WBC cells, mainly destroyed by the HIV virus. So if the white blood cells are reduced in our body, our immune system gradually reduced, then we will become weak and finally we will die. So many of the effects of HIV AIDS are because of the body can no longer fight with many infections that we face every day. Instead, even small cold can become pneumonia. Here examples we will discuss here. For example, the HIV/AIDS effect, how it affects to become. For example, even if we suffer from small cold, if we neglect this, it becomes pneumonia. That means it is a severe disease of the lungs. So similarly, a minor gut infection, gut means here alimentary canal. Gut means here alimentary canal. So if the